Hello everyone, welcome to Software Quality Assurance Trainings. My name is Narendra Chaudhary and I hope you all are doing great job. So let's get started. Before I start, I would like to request to everyone, please go ahead, watch all the video in order to understand today video. Definitely you will be understanding the today video without watching the other video, but I would like to recommend you to go ahead and watch the other video. So let's start. So out of our syllabus, we have completed from 1 to 5, right? And one is the main, two is the main that we have completed. It has about 15 video, right? And then all other has one video. In today's class, we'll be discussing about the QA defects, right? What is the QA defects? How it looks like, right? How how the QA defects going to be? What is the process of QA defect? All those things we'll be discussing. So in today's topic, we'll be discussing what is the QA, or you can say ETL as well. What is the QA defect and what is the life cycle of the defect, right? So in this video, in today's video, we'll be discussing the concept of defect. A defect can be also called as a bug, as a problem, as an error, anything, right? What are the different levels of the defect we will be discussing? Severity and priority of the defects, defect template, defect life cycle, and defect triage meeting. What is defect triage and common types of defect? Like what are the common types of defect? There is so many defect, but few of them will be discussing, right? Let's start it. QA defect. Let's understand what does the defect mean, right? So testing is the process of identifying the defect, where a defect is any variance between the actual and expected result. A mistake in a code is called error. Error found by tester called a defect. Defect accepted by development team called a bug. And build does not meet the requirement, then it is failure. In general, defect or bug is something where actual result is not matching with expected result. Defect has its own life cycle. So let me explain you in summary way, right? What is defect mean? You can call as a defect, you can call as a problems, errors, or some unexpected problems. So what is the defect mean? Defect is the error. Defect is the problem that is not meeting to your expected result. For example, you let's say you plan to buy the vehicles and you expect that the vehicle will run up to 200,000 miles, right? But when you start driving, after 100,000 miles, the vehicle got damaged. Vehicle has start giving the problem. That is the defect. That is the problem, right? Similarly, let's say you buy the television from the supermarket and you expect that this function will be working very nicely in this television. But when you bought the television, it is not working what you want. So this is the defect. In ETL side, how we can say the defect? We have different tables. Source has 50 record, target has 30 record. That is a defect because the counts would match, right? So there's so many types of defect. We will be discussing one by one in detail. But let's understand what are the defect, uh, the steps, right? Life cycle. So whenever they found the defect, it will be open, assigned, in progress, code fix, retested, verified, reclose or reopen. So we'll be discussing one by one in detail, right? But before that, let's discuss what are the different label of defect, right? How do you label the defect and what the different naming of the defect, right? So the level of defect define the impact of that defect or bug in a software or application or a product. So basically, the level of defects that tell you that because of this problem, what is the impact of the software? What is the impact of the application? If this is problem, if this problem happen, what can be reason? What can be caused? What can be result? So that means that is the prioritize of the defect, right? Defects are categorized in main four levels. most of the 90% of the client, 90% of the company, they prioritize their defect, they categorize their defect in the four way. These, the level of defect prioritize and determine the schedule of the defect to be fixed. So why they categorize? The reason for categorizing in to make the priority of the defect that which kind of defect need to fix within which time, in what time, right? So here there is the four main: critical defect, high defect, medium defect, low defect. These are the four defects. What is the critical defect mean? Let's understand one by one, right? This defects has to fix immediately within 12 to 24 hours. If if any problem is found and if that problem is critical, we have to fix that defect within 12 to 24 hours. And how do we know that is the critical defect? Critical defect usually block an entire system or module of functionality, or testing cannot be proceed further without such defect being fixed. An example of critical defect is an application returning the server error message after login attempt. So right, see the critical defect, right? For example, let's see you try to transfer the money from your bank to a different bank, right? And when you click the URL of the bank, and when you enter the user ID and password, even though your enter ID password is wrong, correct, you enter that, but the server, the application gives error. So without login, you cannot do anything. So that is kind of critical defect, right? You wanna go, you buy the cars, right, from the dealership, and the car has there's new car, and when you bring the car, suddenly the transmission of the car get damaged within 1 day. That is the critical defect because it's a new car and it's within 1 day the transmission got damaged, right? In ETL side, how is the critical defect? You have source table, target table, right? Source table has, let's say, 50,000 records, and target table has zero records. That is critical defect because without record you cannot test, right? So anything that stop your activities, that is called critical defect, and that kind of defect need to fix within 12 to 24 hours according to the agile environment, according to the agile methodology. All right. High defect, let's see high defect. This is the high serve defect and collapse the system. However, certain part of the system remain function, but this defect impact second part of the application. For example, you are able to log into the system, but most of the important part of the system was not working. This kind of defect should be resolved within 24 to 48 hours. So as I earlier explained, so you were trying to log in, but login either itself not accepting your login credential. That is critical defect. But let's say you are able to log in, but you want to transfer the money and your transfer button is not working. That become high defect. You you can see your balance, right? You can see your checking amount, you can see your saving amount, but the functionality that you're trying to do, like transfer functionality, that functionality is not working. That is the high defect. Similarly, in a ETL side, how do you know in a it's a high defect? You see that source and target has same number of record. The counts get source and target match, right? The first step at least is validated. But in second step, what happened is source has data not encrypted. Source has the actual data. However, target has the encrypted data. Data get encrypted, right? Data is in different format. So this is called high defect. Similarly, uh, source, the primary key, primary key we have discussed in the SQL, right? Primary key is very nice way, very correct, not duplicate, not null. We found in source, but however, in target we found the primary key duplicate. That is also kind of high defect because primary key cannot be duplicate, right? So this is a kind of high defect. Let's understand the medium defect. The defect should be resolved in a normal course of development activities. It can wait until new build or version is created. All right. The defect must be resolved as soon as possible because the defect is affecting the application or product severity. This defect can be fixed within 48 to 72 hours. Example I earlier gave. So for example, let's see you are able to log in system, you are able to transfer the money, but you are not able to see your transactions, right? You are able to transfer the money, you are able to log into your system, but you transfer the money and transfer has been done successfully, but still you are not able to see the message that your transfer has been done successfully. So this even though this problem is occurred, but this is not stopping your testing, right? So that is the kind of medium defect, because this problem comes but still we are able to do our tasks. So this is kind of problem is called medium defect. For example, in ETL side, right, your count match, primary key duplicate, everything goods, but when you're testing, some columns like is not matching. Like for example, we have 30 columns in source and 30 column in target. Out of 30 columns, 10 15 columns values are not matching, right? So in that situation, at least rest of the column we are able to validate, and due to that rest of the column, at least we can proceed our the application or proceed our software in next step. So that is called a medium defect. That means the medium defect means that is impacting the application, the defect impact the application, or the defect impact the software, but not in serious level, only like medium level. Even though the problem is there, but still we are able to do our activity. So that is the medium defect, right? Next, low defect. Low defects. This defect is an error, but repair can be done once more serious defect has been fixed. This defect does not impact more, but need to fix in future. It can be take up to 72 to 90, 72 to 96 hours based upon the agile. So why low defect? This defect is not impacting application as a serious level, but this defect also need to fix. But if you have other defect, medium defect, high defect, critical defect, go ahead and fix that defect and then put this defect in the last. For example, let's see, you have a what is called source target tables, source and target table. Every column is matching except two or three columns. And what is the problem in two or three column is source side has null value and target side has blank value, right? Source side has null value and target side has blank value. So this is actually defect, but we can consider as null as a blank. We can consider X, but this is not correct. Null is not equal to blank. But if out of 50 columns, one or two columns has source has null value and target has blank value, we can consider yes, this is the defect, but let's make this a low. Reason why this is not impacting our application, right? This is not impacting our application. This can be moved further, and but later on we have to fix. For example, in the UI side, let's see your in your account information, right? In your account summary, right? What happened is you transfer the money and money has been transferred successfully. So what happened is when you transfer, sometimes it says that the amount dot 00. Sometimes the dot after dot 00 not showing. That is okay. Still you are able to do that. Some send problem. Like for example, you are sending, let's say, $10.99. But what happened is when you send it, it makes round, like it makes $11. That is actually problem, but that is not a huge problem because 1 cent, right? It can be fixed later on. So this kind of problem is called as a low defect problem, right? I hope you guys understand the level of defect, and this label define when the defect, when the problem need to fix. All right. Severity and priority of defect. What is severity means and what is the priority means, right? Of the defect. Severity means the seriousness of the defect, and priority means prioritize the defect in which order it has to be fixed, right? So seriousness means how bad, right? How bad this application impact to our systems, right? That is a serious. And priority means what label, right? When we want to fix, what is the time to fix that kind of defect, that is called priority. So there is a four main category of the severity and priority. High, number one, high priority, high severity. That means this kind of defect has very bad impact, and that has to fix very fast, very urgent. That is high priority means very fast. We have to fix as soon as possible. High severity means it is impacting the application very badly. How do we know that? Let's see here. An error which occur on the basic functionality of the application and will not allow user to use the system, same as we learned in the critical defect. So critical defect called as a high severity. But how it comes to the high priority? Let's see here. An example I'm giving here. A site maintaining the bank detail, right? On found transfer, right? See, on the fund transfer, if it does not allow to transfer the fund, then this is high priority and high severity bug. As earlier I explained you that a bank said you can transfer the amount from your one bank to another bank, but if you are not able to transfer from one bank to another bank, as a user, as an individual user, for them it is a very big problem for them. So for the user, as a user, that is the high severity that is impacting because he is not able to transfer the money. Maybe he is going to do very, the urgent work, right? Maybe he's trying to get transfer very urgently. He need a very urgent money and he's transferring, but he's not working. So for him, it's high severity, it's impacting him, and the bank need to fix. So for him, for the user, bank need to fix as soon as possible. So bank need to make a priority because for the bank, customer is the main priority. So as a customer, if I'm not able to transfer my money, for me it's a big problem. And because of myself is big problem, the bank need to fix that defect as a high priority. Got it? Next, low priority but high severity. See, it is impacting very dangerous and very bad in application. But the fixing of priority is the low. We can fix later also. We have to fix, but we can fix later also. So what? How do we know that? See here, a bank application gives interest $2 for every $1,000 in account in the last day of the year. See here, how do you know that? A bank is giving the interest $2 for every thousands, and when they are giving, they are going to give at the last day of the end of the year. So instead of $2, application giving $4. They set up for $2, but application has given $2, which means interest is going to be double. So that is high severity. Why? Because there is the millions of the customers, and instead of giving $2, if they are giving $4, they have given $4, the bank will be in loss due to the high interest. See here, due to the high interest, due to the interest going double, bank have thousands of account are not profitable for the bank because they are paying $2, but in system they are seeing the bank will automatically pay $4. So they may be in loss, but they have time to fix. Let's see in January 2022. In January 2021, they saw that system is showing that the end of this year, the rather than paying $2 interest, it was set up $4, right? By accidentally, it was set up $4. So they don't have to fix now. They have enough time to fix. So this is low priority. They even though system showing for $4, but as a problem, we can pay at the end of the year, right? We can fix at the end of the year. So this is priority is high because bank is going to be lost. But the priority is severity is high because bank is going to be in loss. But the priority is low because we have enough time to fix this problem, right? We have time to end up this year, end of 2021, end of 2022. So we have enough time to fix that, right? Let's see. High priority, low severity. Priority is high, but that is not impacting our application. For example, google.com, and is misspelled in the logo as gogole.com, right? So what is here? Logo is very important for any all the company, right? The Google company. We are so if you try to type in the search bar google.com, you were able to search, but it was misspelled. The spelling of the logo is wrong. So due to that, priority is high. Why it is a high priority? Because every day millions of people they are logging into Google, and when they log into Google, when they go into Google, and when they see the logo of the Google, that impact to the company. So that means it is low impact. Even though logo is wrong, it is not stopping to our applications. We still can search Google, but it is a high priority. Why? Because for the company, if I see the spelling is wrong, I may feel that this is very big company and he make small spelling. He's not able to control small spelling. How he can control bigger thing? So for the company, if the priority is high, but even the priority is high, it is not impacting anybody else. So that is low severity. Next, low priority, low severity. For example, google.com, gogole.com, right? It is some content spelled mistake. Some content, G-O-O, okay. Google.com, some content spells mistake. How do you know low priority? Low priority because it won't impact much. User can still use the website and fix after some time later, right? Not impacting functionality. Most of the user don't use the website, right? So that's what I'm saying. Google.com, instead of google.com, they mistake as G-O-G-O G-O-G-O-L.com, right? Google.com. So even though their logo is mistake, some of the people they are not using the Google. Some other people they are using internet. So the for the company, they can fix it later. All right. So this is the this is the low priority and low severity. Don't worry about this low priority and low severity. You will be getting to know when you start working. But understand the first one, the level of defect, critical defect, medium defect, and high defect and low defect. And next, we have the keyword defect life cycle, which we saw in the beginning, the diagram we saw in the beginning, right? So let's understand each one of the defects. Let's understand each one of the step of the defect life cycle. Defect include the defect ID, like we already know what is the defect, right? And while creating the defect, what are the information do you need to put in a defect? So there need to be a defect ID, there will be a defect ID, there will be a defect description, defect steps, defect environment, found by tester name, what is the severity of the defect, what is the priority of the defect, what is the status, assigned, fixed by date, when that this defect can be fixed, and if closed, when is going to close. For example, defect sample will be discussed in the class. Let me show you one sample of the defect. I do have the defect sample. Project testing, defect report. Okay, this is the defect report. When you create a defect, let's found the defect. Let's see, I am testing. My project name is this 12345 PNC IT service data migration project, right? This is my project, and in the project, I have to mention in the defect, the test lead, who is the lead for this defect, what is the project's release. It's we know the release, right? When the defect going to prepared, that date, and I just told you that defect need the defect ID, which is defect ID one here, and then defect summary. So when we say the defect ID, what is the problem in defects? Write the summary. So I'm saying here the count or counts are not matching between source and target. I get the simple report of the defect, right? The counts are not matching between source and target. This is simple defect. And summary, I am saying same thing. The count between person table. So here I'm saying source and target, right? But what is source table? What is target table? In summary, I am maintaining here. So we need defect ID, we need summary, we need actual, expected, and the query and screenshot. This is the basic defect template. Okay. But when you log into the applications, either Jira application or ALM application, I will tell you what are the information you need to put. So this is simple attachment. Every defect need to be attached with these words or copy paste into the defect management tool, right? So I'm creating here simple defect counts are not matching between source and target. I just say, but what is source versus target? I put it in summary. The count between person table, which is source table, and employees table, which is target tables, are not matching, right? This is summary. What is my actual actual defect? I'm saying the count between person table and employee table are not matching, right? Actual is came like this. So also I will give source has this number of count and target has this number count, right? What is my expected? How much I was hoping? I'm saying that my hope was that the count between person table and employee table should match as per BRD or mapping sheet. And then what I'll do? I will do the query here. Select count start from person table. Put the result here. Select count start from employees table. Put the result here, right? And then put the screenshot here. Put the query here. Put the screenshot here. And that has become simple defect report. Very easy and very simple. And this defect report, if you make, everyone is happy. So I hope you guys understand how to create a defect. For example, if some fields are not matching, you can type that this field from source is not matching with this field in from target. This is what summary. What is your hope, right? So this is the defect template. Uh, let's go to next. Let's understand the and while creating the defect, either you are using the Jira or Jira defect management tool, or you are using the ALM application lifecycle model that is called tool. So when you create, there is the option to enter the defect details. When you create the defect ID will be created by automatically, but you have to insert the defect detail, defect summary. You have to write down the summary of the defect. Then you have to put the step. What are the different steps you did for finding the defect? Which environment did you found? Is it QA environment? Is it ETL environment? It is developer environment or UAT environment. This is the detailed information we have to mention there. Who found the defect? Who the tester name? Who found the person name? And if that defect is the make impact in the application? If yes, what kind of impact? Below, high, medium, right? Similarly, priority when that defect can be fixed. These are the options will be available when you create the defect. These are the options available, and you have to just fix put the box and create the defect, right? So these are the step. Let's read the step. Open a new defect. When what is the open new means? The status. These are the defect status. Okay, this is the this one. This okay. These are the defect status. So when a new defect is logged means created and posted into the first time in a defect management tool, it is assigned a status as new or open, right? Whenever you create a new defect, the first status, the status of the defect will be new or open. Once the bugs, don't be confused, I'm saying bug, defect, problem, it's all the same. Once the bug is posted by the tester, the lead of the tester approves the bugs or defect and assign the bug to the developer team or business analyst team for the code fix or requirement fix. Then the status will change to the assign. So when you log a defect, once you log a defect, test team lead will analyze the defect, and once he analyze, he will be knowing that this defect is the requirement related defect or this defect is the developer related defect. Whatever defect is this, he is finalized, he is analyzed, and then he or she will assign to the related person. And then when he assign the defect, the status of the defect will be automatically changed from new open to assigned. Sometimes we have to change the manually also, but we can change the manually. In progress status. So number third status will be in progress. Okay. This is the phases when developer or business analyst are working to fix the defect. Sometimes defects need some clarification from QA or developer, or and sometimes the defect need clarification from QA or developer, and BA is not understanding defect. In that situation, whole agile team can be held the defect triage meeting to discuss about the defect at the time of the status will change to in progress. All right. So what here, let me explain in summary. So when you found the defect, developer test lead assign the defect to the developer or business analyst, but they are not understanding the defect. They need some clarification from the QA that how they found the defect. For that, there will be a meeting got scheduled, and that meeting is called defect triage meeting, or you can also say defect assessment meeting. In the meeting, all the defect is going to explained by the person who log a defect, and the business analyst or developer will accept the defect, and during that time the defect status will be changed as in progress, because defect is still in the someone is working on the defect. So the status of the defect will be changed to in progress. Okay. Number four, when when developer or business analyst makes the necessary code change and verify the change that it is make bug status as fixed, the status will change as a code fix. So let me, maybe my language is not clear, but let me explain slowly. So uh, after in progress, developer will or business analyst will fix the problem. When the fix the problem, well, and the fix is done, they change the status of the defect from in progress to code fix. So when they change the code fix, they will talk to the test lead. And number five, tester does the retesting of the code at the stage of check whether defect is fixed by developer or not. Then the lead of the tester will make this status from code fix to retest, right? Understand? So what happens is uh, code fix and then retest. Then number six, what happens is when it was in the retest status, the tester retests the bugs after it got fixed by the developer. If there is no bugs, if there is no bugs detected in the software, then the bugs is fixed and the status assigned is a verified, and tester will close with the comment saying that defect is no more exist, closing the defect. All right. So in number six steps, what happens is when lead assign the defect and making the status as retest, tester will retest the defect and see that the code that was changed by developer is working fine and there is no any defect access into the software. He will write a comment saying that I verify the defect and there is no more defect. I am closing the defect. This comment will insert by the testers and close the defect. But number six, same step. Number six, if developer fix the code, but still, see here, if the bug is still there, even after the developer fix the bugs, the tester change the status to reopen. Once again, the box goes to again from the beginning life cycle. See here, there is two step of six. So when developer fix the code, after fixing the code, tester will test, and when tester will retest, either it could be fixed or it could be again defect. So if that defect was fixed, there is no issue. Tester will say that I verified and the defect is no more. I am closing the defect, and he will change the status from retest to close status. But when he retesting, after fixing the developer code, still the defect has not fixed, still the defect was there, then what happened is the tester will he changed the status from retest to reopen the defect, and again defect life cycle start from reopen, assign, in progress, code fix, or code fix you can say in dev as well, code fix, retest, and again same process coming until the defect got fixed. So this is the whole defect life cycle. Different 95% of the company they are using same process. Some people they use some company they use Jira, some company they use ALM, but the process of defect is the same everywhere. Very important topic. Please listen carefully. Uh, the next, defect triage and common types of defect. What is defect triage and what are the different like what are the common types of defect can be? So defect triage is a process that tries to do the rebalancing of the process where the test team force the problem of limited availability of resources. So when there are large number of the defect and limited tester to verify them, defect triage helps to try to get as to get as many defects resolved based on the defect parameters like severity, priority, reviewing all the defect, including the rejected defect by the team. Initial assessment of the defect is based on the its content and respective priority and severity setting. Prioritize, Prioritizing the defect based on the input, assign the defect to the correct release by product master manager. So basically, don't worry about this. My language may be some mismatch, but what is the defect triage? Write the note, please. This is very important question asked in the interview. So defect triage, or you can say defect assessment. Defect triage, it is the meeting conversation between the whole agile team, all right, and whole agile team basically developer, QA, BA, UAT, right? So defect triage or defect assessment, it is the meeting organized by the testing team lead to explain all the defect process, to explain the defect, how they found the defect, how the defect can be prioritized, who is going to take and charge of what defects. So that kind of meeting is called defect meeting. A meeting in which all the agile team will involve and they are discuss about how that defect can be taken care. That meeting is called defect triage meeting, right? So in the meeting, tester will explain all the defects. There will be 50 or 20 defects. Tester will explain all and every defect, how they found the defect, and Scrum Masters or other team member will decide what is the priority of the defect, and based upon the defect, they will label the defects as a critical, high, low, or medium, and once they assign the defect, it is go to the whole defect process. Everyone accept their defect. If the developer related defect, developer will accept. If the business related defect, business will accept. And then they will start their process from there. And that communication, that collaboration is called defect triage meeting. All right. The collaboration is called defect assessment meeting. And let's see what are the common types of defect that we found in our real-time projects. So here, if you see the URL related defect, the login error. Login is a very common defect. You logged, but server is not responding. Click error. You try to click the submit button, but it's not. Right? Web page error, tab error. You will, right? So these are the common errors. Value errors, right? The naming convention error, tab error. So these are the login error. In ETL site, what kind of error? Count error. Count is not matching. Duplicate error. Duplicate value seeing. Null value is seeing. Right? You see the null value where it's not supposed to be null. Mapping error. Like mapping error means the business analyst they create the mapping but some were mismatched. Instead of saying primary key cannot be duplicate, they said yes, it can be duplicate. So that is the mapping error. Encryption and decryption error, right? Uh, Source side have encryption, target side had not encryption. Source side had decryption, target side had not a description. Vice versa. Metadata error, right? Metadata means the column names, table names, data types, mistakes. Like for example, source has integer and target has varchar. That is kind of error. Data loss error, right? I already explained that source has 50 records, target has 10 records. Data got lost. So there is so many kind of defect, but in general, in ETL side or in UI side, these are the common defect we found in our real-time project. So I hope you all are understand today's video. If not, please write your question in the comment box and I will reply back to you. Again, thank you very much for watching my video and please subscribe my channel and keep watching my video. Thank you very much.